everybody, and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news, but we're going to be talking about Ollie's super team, because a lot of people are saying, what are the expectations for this season? What will we line up against Leeds like? And if I was to tell you that the team that's going to line up against Leeds is probably going to be worth more than £500 million on transfer fees, you're probably going to sit there and say, maybe we should be in a title race this season. And that's an exciting thing. It's a daunting thing. But ultimately, it's a ting that I would say is the right ting, because I just want Solskjaer to be given the tools to succeed. And if he doesn't succeed, then all these people who think that he's good enough or he's not good enough or they have these doubts about him will find out. I think last season he overachieved with second place. We didn't bring in the players that he wanted in the summer before. This summer, if we bring the players in, what's he got to do? For me, you've got to be in a title race until back end of April. Let's have a look at how we'll probably line up against Leeds. I don't expect to be totally right on this, but, more or less, I think this is the team that we're going to see lining up against Leeds. So let's start off. We bought him many years ago now for about £19 million. His name is David De Gea. I mean, look, you can say Dean Henderson if you want, but the point of the show is to be a little bit about, how much we've spent on players and what our expectations should be for that spend. So I've gone with De Gea because I prefer De Gea. You might go with Dean Henderson. Right back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. We may well bring a Trippier in, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka, £50 million from Crystal Palace a couple of years ago. He is our right back. Don't think anyone would disagree with that. Then we're going to put Raphael Varane in. I believe that this deal will get done strongly, 90% club. And I think it will be done for roughly £40 million, about €50 million. So £40 million for Raphael Varane. And already you can see that side is starting to look very, very, very good. Obviously, Harry Maguire will be back for that game against Leeds. £80 million from Leicester City. He will take up that position as our captain next to Raphael Varane. And then we'll complete the back four, obviously, with Luke Shaw. £30 million we spent for Luke Shaw all those years ago from Southampton. £30 million Luke Shaw. And that's your back five. And look, we've bought it all. Maybe there'll be a Dean Henderson in goal, like I said. But ultimately, I think that is our best back five. And it looks a very good one compared to what we were putting out last season. And I would expect that to be our back five against Leeds with maybe Henderson in goal. But look, a very, very good back five. I think you would agree with that. Moving into the midfield, I would love to see us spending maybe £25 million on Camavinga, maybe £40 million on Ruben Neves, but I've actually gone with a £50 million purchase, and it's not a new one, it's Fred. I like Fred in this position with who he's going to be playing next to him. We spent £50 million on Fred from Shakhtar, and I think he had a good tournament in the summer. And I think he complements the player I'm going to put next to him. And obviously with Raphael Varane in the team, you don't need to see McFred anymore. Some people might go with McTominay. Obviously we didn't spend any money on him. He's from the youth setup. But I've put Fred in there because I prefer Fred when he's playing with this man, which is Paul Pogba. I think we've seen Fred and Pogba together. We've seen McTominay and Pogba together. And I always think that Fred complements Pogba better. You get more of the Kante Pogba vibes because Fred is smaller, more tenacious, more quicker across the ground. But yeah, I still agree we need a specialist centre defence midfielder. And when I say specialist centre defence midfielder, I think this is becoming a little bit, misinterpreted. I mean a centre defence midfielder who will sit back, take the ball off the back four and run the game. And I do think that people like Bissouma, Ruben Neves, Goretzka could do it. There's a few players that we could go for. That Camavinga could do it as well, I believe, as well. Paul Pogba was an £89 million purchase from Juventus. He will still be here next season. I firmly believe that. And he will be playing against Leeds. And to be honest with you, look at that before we move into the attackers. Last season, our big problem was Lindelof and Maguire and McTominay and Fred. Basically made us a back six, made us quite a static back six and quite a slow back six. You look at that back six now, you've got Varane and Maguire who will provide the ability to push up higher and take responsibility because they're both very good centre-backs, which negates the need for McTominay and Fred to stand back and hold hands with them. It allows Pogba and Fred to push further forward and leave Fred with the defensive responsibility when needed and Pogba when needed. But I think that back six is where you'll see the improvement. Even if we don't bring a centre defensive midfielder in, bringing Varane in revolutionises that back six and makes things a lot different with his experience, his pace, his aerial ability, and his ability on the ball. Next, obviously, Bruno Fernandez. 50 million. I know there's add-ons, but I'd say a £50 million signing from Sporting Lisbon a couple of years ago now. he will play against Leeds and he will be the head of that attacking midfield position. And I think he will have a good season at Manchester United. And we are looking about how we're going to line up against Leeds here. This is not speculative. This is not start of the summer transfer window if we have the dream summer. This is how I think we will line up against Leeds and how we should line up against Leeds. So yeah, Bruno comes in as well. Left hand side, I've gone with Anthony Martial. We don't definitely know that Marcus Rashford's having the operation yet. I think he should have the operation, and I think if he does have the operation, then Anthony Martial off the left hand side has a relationship with Luke Shaw from a couple of years ago, and they can work together well. And I think Martial has a lot to prove, and I think this is his opportunity with Rashford having the operation and rest that he needs. Anthony Martial I've put down as a £50 million player. We spent £36 million on Anthony Martial, but there were a couple of add-ons that have been hit. 25 goals and I think 25 caps for France, both of which I'm pretty sure the goals has been done, and I think he's at 25 caps. So currently 50 million I think we've spent on that Martial deal. I think it can go up again, but he's got to be nominated for Ballon d'Or, which probably isn't going to happen, but hopefully it will. Obviously Jadon Sancho off the right hand side, £80 million signing, not even been unveiled yet. I appreciate Varane's not been unveiled yet. There is a bit of leap of a faith here, but I think with Sancho we can leap knowing that we're going to land safely. Right hand sided player, he will be back training with Manchester United, first time training with United at the start of August when the rest of the English players come back. He will be playing against Leeds and he will take up that position off the right hand side, I believe, and obviously very excited to see that happen as well, which leaves the man up front, which for me will be Edinson Cavani to complete the side. Let me just go there and there back again. That's not reset. Why has it not done that? Cheeky git. Let me go here. Hello, watch along. We won 2-1. It's still not. Why are they all out of sync? This is really quite annoying. I just want it to be everybody in sync. Nope, it's not going to have it for some reason. It's not having it. They're all moving around all over the place, which is disappointing, but there you go. So that's the team. Now, interestingly, the grand total of that team, which very much big chance that team will play against Leeds. I think the only two I'd be worried about would be maybe he'll go with Henderson in goal, maybe he'll go with McTominay in the midfield, which is funny actually because that will decrease the value of the team because they're both youth players. Maybe that's why he'll do it. I don't know. But for me, De Gea should be in goal and I'd go with Fred over McTominay. If he does go with McTominay and Henderson, then that wipes off about £70 million because De Gea was 19 and Fred was 50 million. But the total value of that team on my left, there's a very big chance we'll play against Leeds. £549 million, that team. Ollie's super team, £549 million. And the interesting thing, Fred, Pogba, Martial are the only players that he hasn't bought. Everybody, and Luke Shaw as well. Everybody, and De Gea, actually half the team. But I don't think you'd argue about the money spent on De Gea or Luke Shaw. Maybe you would about Fred. Don't think you'd argue about what was spent on Martial either. But £549 million for that team. Should it be challenging for a title? God, yes. When you look at it like that, if you spend £500 million on a team, you'd expect to win a title with it. So this is the dream. This is the dream for me because that team there should be challenging for a title. It's probably the most expensive side in world football. If not, it'll be one of the most expensive sides in world football. And I still think you look at it and go, that Fred position needs a proper midfielder that can hold it. But apart from that, I think it's nearly there. And of course, you've got people like Rashford who will come back. You've got Greenwood who can come in. There are other players, I rate Van der Beek. There are other players that could come in as well. But that team there could very well line up against Leeds, Ollie's super team. 550 million quid there or thereabouts. You'd expect that to go and challenge for a title. What it will do is, and I think where it will unite all United fans in excitement and anticipation is, you give that team to Jurgen Klopp, you give that team to Pep Guardiola, you give that team to any top manager, and you would expect that team to do very, very well. You'd expect it to go very deep into the Champions League, you'd expect it to go very deep into a title race, and you'd expect it to win a trophy. That, to me, is exciting because this will totally and utterly negate the Solskjaer in or out argument, which seems to be residing over our fan base like a dark cloud, really. We need to see some bright sun, and I think we will see it with that team. I think Solskjaer will succeed with that team. But what I would say, to play devil's advocate, is if he can't succeed with that team, it's going to become very abundantly clear very quickly that we don't have the right coaching set up. Because you look at that 11 and you go, how how does that 11 not challenge for a title? How does that 11 not challenge for major trophies? We've spoken about a 3-year plan for a long time, but when you look at that 11 there, where's the 3-year plan now? And there's a lot of players on that pitch that, you know, might get swapped out for other players as well. So it shows you there is some squad depth. Of course, I agree with the Fred position. If that was a Kimmich or that was a, you know, even an Ndidi or a Declan Rice, I think you're going, well, that's enhanced it where it needs to enhance. That's the only doubt for me, is if it's not Fred or it's McTominay or it is Fred, you know, it is still a bit of a weakness. But apart from that, I look at that team and I think that is a dream team. That is a team that I think if we showed you that team 3 or 4 years ago, you'd go, wow, that team is bloody exciting. And that's United's team, and he can pick that team. Of course, the first stumble is, will he actually let Rashford have the operation? Will he pick McTominay and Henderson over De Gea and Fred? You know, will he actually put Sancho on the left to play Dan James on the right, or Greenwood on the right? Will he mess around with that team? I tell you what, I'd say straight away, I guarantee you that won't be the starting 11, but it could be. But whatever the starting 11 is, there's a lot of money and there's a lot of investment and there's a lot of talent there, and we should be having an exciting season this season. Thanks everyone for watching. Just a quick run through of how we might be lining up against Leeds, and really to hammer home that we spent 550 million quid on that team. It's you know, that's quite an eye opener. It was for me when I was adding it up, but I shouldn't be surprised, and I should be expecting a good season ahead for United. And ultimately, the most exciting thing for me, it's on the coach. It's on the coaches. They ain't got no excuses anymore. I think last year they did. I think the year before they did. I think now, going into year 3 as the full-time manager, with the players that you've got and the squad that you've got, rotations key, tactics key, results are key. No excuses. Let's go and get it. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Get your comments in below on what you think, and I'll speak to you all soon.